Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second SEAC meeting on this October 27, 2025. Some housekeeping items before we begin. A reminder that this meeting is being recorded on Teams and the recording will be posted on HCDSB's website. If you're participating via Teams, unless you're prompted by myself the chair, keep your microphone muted and camera off when not speaking. Camera off can be your option. It's great to see everyone's face. If you want to keep it on, that's great. I always love to see everyone's face on the meetings. Please click the button the hand button to answer any questions or ask any questions or join discussions. Motions to be passed and seconded, and please wait to be called upon. Trustee Agnew has a conflict tonight, so I'll be chairing in her place tonight. Special mention for our Blue Jays tonight. Wear your Blue Jays gear. Blue Jays go. Let us begin our meeting with an opening prayer and join me in our sign of our faith. My Father, Son, Holy Spirit. We come together in hope from different community groups answering the same call to service, pieces of the same puzzle. We come together in gratitude for the trust placed in us for the opportunity to serve, pieces of the same puzzle. We come together in respect, aware of our diversity, willing to work for the good, pieces of the same puzzle. We come together in awe of the wonder and beauty of each of God's children, pieces of the same puzzle. We come together in God's name, and as we work together toward the same goal, each piece of the puzzle begins to fit neatly into place, creating a breathtaking picture of love, compassion, courage, and grace. In the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. And I believe we will go with our land acknowledgement. Thank you, Margaret.
As we know it today
is rich in the history and modern traditions
of many First Nations and the Métis.
From the lands of the Anishinaabe
to the Attawandaron,
the Haudenosaunee,
and the Métis. These lands surrounding the Great Lakes
are steeped in Indigenous history.
As we gather today
on these treaty lands,
our Catholic social teachings
call us in solidarity
with our Indigenous brothers and sisters
to honor and respect
the four directions: lands, waters, plants, animals, and ancestors that walked before us.
All these wonderful elements of creation exist,
gifted to us by our Creator God. We acknowledge and thank
the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation
for being stewards of this traditional territory.
Great. Thank you, Margaret. So we'll go on to item 1.2, approval of the agenda. All of you would have received the email with the agenda and presentation items involved and the minutes. After viewing the agenda, does anyone have any changes? Raise your hand. No changes, no additions, no edits. Great. Can I get a mover to approve the agenda? Is that Abiola? Sorry, my screen's really small here. Abiola is going to move it. Great. Can I have a seconder?
I can second, or I think Tracy already did.
Sorry, I can't see who is that? Sorry.
Sorry, it was
Tracy.
Powell, but I think
Tracy. Tracy did,
okay.
yeah.
So okay, Abiola will move it, and Tracy will second. Thank you very much. Item 2, declarations of conflict of interest. Does anyone have any declarations of conflict of interest? No, I don't see any hands. Okay, great. So on to item number 3, presentations. So we have a presentation tonight, Special Olympics Cross Country 2025 by Fran Oliveira and Dan Palazes. And Rihanna is going to introduce them. Thank you.
Hi, it's my pleasure to introduce Dan Palazes and Fran Oliveira, who are 2 special education consultants that plan and organize the Special Olympics cross country and our Special Olympics track and field in the spring of the year. And this event wouldn't be the success that it is without all the behind the scenes planning. They literally spend weeks planning this event. So I'm going to turn it over to them, and they're going to share some of the organizational details and pictures from the event, and just explain our process. Dan and Fran.
Okay, it's coming up. Can everyone see that okay?
Yes, you're good.
Excellent. Okay, so Special Olympics cross country. Special Olympics cross country took place over 3 days at Kelso Conservation Area in Milton. October 8th were our Oakville schools, October 9th, all the Burlington schools, and then October 15th were the North Halton schools. That was our inclement weather date because it was inclement weather on the 7th when North Halton would have gone. Let me just, there we go. Number of participants. So we had many participants. This was larger numbers than we saw last year and the year before, our largest numbers yet. Oakville had 52 participants, Burlington 34, and North Halton 47 for a total of 133 participants. We had distances marked off for the students to run. Some ran, some walked, some used a bike. We had a few students in wheelchairs that were pushed along the way, helped along the way with by their peers or EAs. There was a distance of 250 meters they could choose from, or 125 meters. There were 4 students that did the full distance, 1.5 or 2 kilometers according to their age. And we had 1 student that ran alongside an EA. The other 3, I believe, were independent. They may have ran with a friend or a mentor, but the one we ran the full distance with an EA. It was wonderful to see. So in order to prepare the students for this event, they were encouraged to train for these races alongside the regular cross-country team, along with peer mentors, if it was possible at all, if they could stay after school or come before school. If not, it was done before the day. We encouraged them to train just as much as the other students to get the full experience. We also sent a social story to all the resource teachers, the special education resource teachers, in advance so that they could read the social story, show the students pictures of the event, and to ease their worries and answer any questions they might have about the event. So Dan's gonna.
Yeah, so we were able to provide transportation for our students in wheelchairs, and in our community living class where all of the students came to participate. We also had, of course, accessible bathrooms for all of our students. And then also we encouraged our students to, during our training, they trained with peer mentors, and then they also ran with the peer mentors. Either they had the choice of running independently or with their friend. Always the event is a highlight as we stop pretty much everything as a break, and all of the parents, it's announced, all the parents in all the families of schools come to basically the straightaway where all the students are running the 250 or 125 and cheer our students on. So it's a really special moment for them. And then, of course, we have access for our parents at the finish line. We hand out wristbands so that they kind of get line bypass and get to join in the moment with their child. Again, each of our students is handed out a medal, maybe not all of them get a medal by John Klein, but the select few do get a medal. The rest have to just accept the medal from Fran and some of our other consultants and Riona, as well as Cassandra. But it's a really fun event that I know Fran and I really, it is work, but it's such a joy to see students in a different setting, and it's a great experience. Now, to kick that off, normally Fran and I just have 2 events a year where we have, as Riona mentioned, cross country, and then we have track and field. And we were always looking for basically something else, because it's a long period to go from fall to spring. And luckily we came across Special Olympics Ontario, which is a unified championship school program, which is kind of being run through, they've got funding through the province, but it's relatively new. And basically it's a program that can be run in the school specifically, where as you could see from some of the pictures, you know, sports empower students, sports empowers, I mean, right now, everybody's rallying behind the Blue Jays, well, most of us. And, you know, sports is a way of bringing people together. So with this program, it encourages peers to lead these events. And then also they have facilitators that help volunteers at the school to run the programs. It teaches coaches what to do, teaches the students how to support other students with various disabilities, and helps them to train. Now, this program is a worldwide program. From what we found out, it's run in many different countries, as you can see there. There's about 4 million athletes currently participating in this program around the world. And it fosters inclusion in school communities through inclusive sports health, youth leadership, as well as whole school engagement. Through the program, through their own stats, they found that there was 94% greater social inclusion. There's a reduction in bullying in schools, increased participation in sports for students who are identified, and there's a decrease in depression.
I just wanted to add that I've seen it in action at one of my schools, St. Thomas Aquinas, and it's a great program. And they come and help you with anything you want to do to organize this event. It's run by them and they come and help you. And we did this presentation, this Unified Champion Schools representative, Jaden Miller-Booth, came to our FOS for CERTS, as well as our department head meeting, and presented this information. So everyone's well aware of it.
So yes, the schools were just made aware in the last couple of weeks. So again, it's based off of, and right here, no, go ahead, Fran, that's perfect. It's all based off of volunteers. So we were just letting the CERTs and department heads know, and then basically they're going to be reaching out to Jaden for further information on how to run it in their schools, as well as he'd be supporting with equipment, as well as education around training. And as I said before, volunteers are essential to our programs. There's Fran and I maybe here, but there's 20 or 30 people behind us supporting us. And again, it's a collection of disciplines. Our speech and language pathologists are out there. Our CDAs are out there. Our behavioral analysts are most important. Sorry, I shouldn't say are most important, but everybody's important. Our itinerant educational assistants are out there supporting us, and it's all of us collectively coming together that make these events possible. And without everybody, we wouldn't be able to run this event. So our volunteers are obviously very essential to our success.
I won't show this little video, this reel, but I'm just going to put a little plug for our Instagram page there at special education _HCDSB. You might already be following. Then I created this reel. I enjoy doing this stuff in my spare time. So if you want to watch it, it's a little long. It's about 2 or 3 minutes, and it shows pretty much almost every moment of the event. And it's a nice little summary of all the schools and all the students participating. So it should be up there still if you wanted to watch that with some, after the game. That's all we have right now. Thanks so much. If anyone has any questions.
I don't have any questions, but I wanted to, acknowledge, not only do your names rhyme, Fran and Dan, but this is really a dynamic duo that come together near the beginning of the school year. Things are already in motion to try and get as many students accessing and involved in our cross country, and then again, as a board for our track and field. But with this partnership with Special Olympics, we'll now have these dynamic duos available to support schools across the board in facilitating their own program. Although we know Special Olympics comes in, I know they produce calendars and all that information. And like I said, Fran and Dan it's a well-oiled machine, and it's a point of pride. And I don't think there's anyone who can leave a track and field or cross country event without a big, huge smile on your face. And you said there were 133 athletes that participated this year and growing. And to them, I think it's a day they won't soon forget. So I wanted to just plug, they're very modest, both Dan and Fran, about their work and the countless hours and the coordination and the rain and the busing and all those things that go behind the scenes to make the day possible. But yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fran and Dan. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Fran and Dan? Questions? Okay, well, I'm just going to say thank you, Fran and Dan. That's a great presentation. It's always nice to see these events where the kids go out and have a great time, heartwarming, uplifting. They go out there having a good time and just, really brings it home, especially with this committee, what this event's all about. So thank you so much for coming to SEAC and presenting this to us, and for all your hard work putting this together. And we look forward to future presentations on the next events as well. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to go now, moving on to the next item, item 4. Approval of the minutes. You would have all received minutes in the agenda package that was sent to you last week. Hopefully you've all had a chance to review them. Can I have a mover? Sorry, does anyone have any edits or suggestions or changes to the minutes? Just going to see if any hands up. No hands. Okay. Great. So no changes. Can I ask for a mover to accept the minutes from last meeting? Jessica, can you move it? Can I ask for a seconder, please? Sorry, number 2 was Amanda. Great, thank you. So moved by Jessica, seconded by Amanda. Thanks so much. Item number 5.1, business arising from previous meetings. There's no business arising from previous meetings, so that's an easy one. 5.1 is done. So on to the next item. There were 2, so Special Education Board Policy Review. There were 2 policies that were sent out. If you've had a chance to review them and want to have some questions or make some suggestions to changes, do we know, Superintendent Jacqueline, do we know when when we have to have the questions, or sorry, when you have the suggestions or comments in by? Is there a deadline for this?
Yeah, so if we could have any feedback before the end of this week, that would be great. The next policy meeting is November the 11th. So I know that we shared it at the first meeting, all of them. So you had an opportunity to look them over at that point if you chose to, but if you haven't had a chance, if you could, it's not the red line edit, it's the original document as it presents on the board website. And so if you can take a look at it and give any feedback, I believe Margaret sounds very formal. Meg sends out the link for any feedback alongside the policy. So we always want to make sure that if there's anything that SEAC has provided as far as feedback, that we include that as part of the review.
Absolutely. Thank you, Superintendent Jack Caldera. So, so it's policy I-33, classroom observations by external third-party professionals policy, and the next item is the item 6.2 is item 2-19, policy 2-19, educational field trips. For those of you who haven't had a chance to review them, please do that and get the comments back as per the form that was sent. Was there a form? Sorry, there was a form sent out with the original policies back in September? Okay, yeah.
There was. Yeah, just after the last meeting.
Yep. Okay, great. Sorry. My brain's a little scrambled these days, remembering everything that comes out. So yeah, that's great. So the forms are out and available in the last email. And thank you, Margaret, for sending that out. Anyone with any comments or suggestions, please look for that email and fill in those forms. Thank you so much. And that's the deadline for that is November 11th. Sorry, November 11th is the next policy meeting. So please get your comments or suggestions in as soon as possible so that they can be included before that meeting. Thank you. So on to item 7, action and information items. Item 7.1, spirit of inclusion criteria review. Has that been, okay, here we go, great. So each year we do the Spirit of Inclusion Award, as most of you know. And have these been sent out yet, do we know, to the schools? The schools have these, they have them every year. I don't think much changes from year to year. But I guess the schools will have this to make their nomination for a child in their school for the Spirit of Inclusion Award. And I believe the deadline for this, so that's from 2023, so obviously that's from a couple of years ago, but basically early December is always a deadline for the schools to submit their own nominations, and then I think we get those nomination lists in February after Margaret has collated them and shared them with the Spirit of Inclusion Subcommittee. So the candidate criteria is there. Has this been sent out to the schools yet? Do we know for this year, Margaret?
Not yet. I can through you, Chair. Sorry, not yet. I think the purpose of today is just to take a look at the criteria and make sure that it still is in alignment with what we feel as a group or as SEAC feels is appropriate and still reflects the goals, the spirit of the awards. So you're right, it doesn't go out until December, but and so we'll meet again just before we would be releasing it to get the applications to schools. But today I think our goal is to just make sure that the criteria still meets the spirit of the award. So
great. Okay, so that's in the agenda package, everyone, so we can if you have any suggestions or changes, please send that to the chair and CC Vice Chair and Margaret with that. Any suggestions you have for that? Okay. Thank you, Cassandra. Thank you, Margaret. So item 7.2, SEAC subcommittees and board committees for review. You all received an email a few weeks ago asking about confirming your names on the committees and subcommittees, and that's great. So some additional names on there. Okay, great. I assume there's still time if people want to jump onto a subcommittee or board committee, please let Margaret know that you would like to be added to any of the committees. We still have some committees at the bottom that don't have any representation from SEAC yet. So by all means, if you feel like you want to contribute and join a board committee, the Mental Health and Wellbeing Advisory and Steering Committee down below there, Human Rights and Equity Advisory Council, and the Focus on Faith, still looking for volunteers. So please feel free to put your names in for those. Thank you to everyone that's already stepped up and put your names in. Appreciate that. And now on to item 8, board committee updates from SEAC representatives. 8.1, Brianna, Autism Ontario update from Brianna. Brianna, do you want to take that?
Can you see
report?
me?
Thank you. Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so we just have some updates for October and November. Autism Ontario was asking parents to prepare for Autism Awareness Month, looking for stories, telling about highlighting their child's diversity, strengths. They're trying to collect voices right across Ontario. They also did their annual report and audited financial statements for those who are interested in looking at numbers. There's some webinars that are coming up. They have a paperwork party. It helps parents and guardians to fill out paperwork for funding that's available to families. There's also a toileting made easier webinar, helping for strategies to try and lets parents know that kind of they're not alone in any struggles they're having. They also have a link for any webinars missed for families. They can always be watched at a later date. There are groups that are happening. There's an Awesome Moms for November 20th. They're trying to run it about every month. So it's a group meeting for moms only. And then there's one for rad dads as well. And they've done a school collection this year. So they're trying to make resources available easier to families all in one place rather than trying to look all over the place. So they started with understanding special education, a workshop for caregivers. So registration has passed, but you can always register, try and request. And if space is available, you can be added. And it's explaining to parents kind of what an IEP is, what an IPRC is, how special education works in Ontario. They also have one for navigating challenges and building connections, offering positive advocacy strategies to parents, and again, how to work with the school system. The IEP, what it is and why it matters. So all these have downloaded resources and videos for parents to watch at their convenience. They have preparing your child's special education meeting, a parent's guide, kind of tips and tricks for advocating again for your child's success. And we've updated the videos. Ready, Set, Learn, an activity book series for JK and SK school age students to help prepare for school and transitions. Setting up for school success, a resource checklist to help families prepare for the first day of school, and also planning routines and support. Help explain the importance of building a positive connection with your school team. And then an All About Me. Even this was for August going into September, but it just highlights your child's strengths, interests, or challenges that you can keep with you and take to meetings, especially sometimes when parents, it gets emotional and it can kind of get off track. So it's just kind of a positive reinforcement. It's, why you're there for the meeting, and it's all about the child. Then we have some links for supporting mental health, new diagnosis resources. And then we have some more webinars that are being offered for parents, for new diagnosis for caregivers and parents over the age of 5. And again, exploring autism, what is autism, and how you can be an ally for those with autism. And then we've done a new diagnosis resource and included multiple languages. And last we have that we're doing a research highlight to help understand the economic impacts experienced by families with children in Ontario with autism. And that's it.
Great, thank you, Brianna, for that presentation. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Brianna about the Autism Ontario update? Don't see any hands. No. Okay. That's great. Thanks, Brianna. Appreciate preparing the presentation and speaking tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, and that's available. The information is all available online. People and they can reach out to you if they have any questions about the new diagnosis information.
Yeah, it's all available. Yeah, it's all available online on the Autism Ontario website. They're really updating everything and bringing, so you can access everything there. But if you have any questions, you can feel free and contact me.
Great. Thank you, Brianna.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So moving on to item number 9.
I think you're on mute.
You're muted.
Sorry, I'm muted. I apologize. Item 9, communication to SEAC. We're going to start with item 9.1. We'll start with the trustee report from Trustee Powell. Go ahead, Trustee Powell.
I believe Trustee Powell's having some connectivity issues. I've requested her to join.
Do we want to just skip ahead and maybe give her a moment to resolve her issues and maybe ask if Superintendent Jack Caldera can?
Sure, no problem.
If you're ready, Superintendent Jack Caldera, yes? Great.
I was born ready.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay, take it away. Thank you so much.
I'll start off with just taking a moment to recognize the passing of Brandon Smith. He was our, I think we might have success there, but I'll just finish this thought and hope that you'll hold his family in our prayers. He was our special education teacher at St. Andrews and had a courageous battle with cancer and passed away last week. And so just if you could keep his family in our thoughts and in our prayers, how difficult it must be. So I'll pause there just to make sure. I don't know if you want me to continue, Chair, or do you want
Trustee Powell back in, or?
No, she isn't.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So go
I'll
ahead.
keep going.
Great, thank you.
Okay. And I'd also like to take a moment to just recognize that we have a new representative or trustee representing Milton wards 2 and 3, Patrick Murphy, no relation to outgoing Emma Murphy, who would be a familiar face to many. He was in trustee board of chair trustees before in the past, and so it's a new face and a returning face for some. So we're very fortunate to be able to welcome him, and I know that special education is a special part of his platform and goals in supporting our school board, so looking forward to working alongside him. We did include board recognized dates for everyone's awareness. Notably, November is Indigenous Awareness Month at HCDSB. We also have All Saints Day, All Souls Day, November 5th, Take Your Kid to Work Day, November the 11th, Remembrance Day, and we're very much in partnership with our Safe Schools Department supporting Bullying Awareness and Prevention Week. So that is the week of November 16th to 22nd, and it's a ministry date to acknowledge the importance of being aware and to support that. Every board recognizes the third week of November as Bullying Awareness and Prevention Week. We don't have any official disability days in November that I'm aware of. We often hear of initiatives and recognition days. They're so frequent, but if we have missed one, then we certainly want to make sure that we're including it. But this month, we don't have anyone noted for to recognize. Next month, I'll update that list. This meeting, we had our Special Olympics presentation, which of course we already acknowledged Dan and Fran, and just wanted to remind everyone about the adaptive kits, especially as students are registering you know, taking those next steps in their faith journey in receiving a sacrament. We continue to provide updates and receive updates from our curriculum partners and our religious education leads. So if you have any questions about the adaptive kits, I think we're receiving a lot of positive feedback about how helpful and useful just even sharing this information has been. So we'll continue to do so that we can promote the awareness. We already talked about the policies that are coming up for November 11th, but you're not off the hook as far as doing additional research and homework. So December 9th, we have two. So December 9th is the day of the policy. And we try to line it up so that we get the feedback by our next, I guess so the November SEAC meeting would be when we would like to have the feedback for the policies on December 9th. The same link will work, just identifying the different two policies. There's a policy and a procedure rather. The student use of service animals in schools is policy II-52, and then VI-97 is the procedure, but we will welcome feedback on both. And then on the last set of homework you'll have is in preparation for the June 9th policy meeting. And you'll see that those are listed as well on the agenda. The 2025-2026 school year special incidents portions, the acronym is SIP. Data collection request has been requested. I'm not the best English there, but I'll make that correction. The deadline to submit the data for school boards is January 31st, 2026. And in my report, you'll see that there's some reference just so that everyone's familiar with what the SIP data collection is. And so won't read all of that for you, but just there for your reference. And we've been having some conversations, we've been having some conversations about the supporting students from elementary into secondary, particularly with regards to accessing French instruction. So there are a number of moving parts, I guess we'll say, around how we've been supporting students who have been taking French class. So core French in elementary school, and then their readiness for core French in secondary school. It is required that students take grade 9 French in order to graduate. And then we have some students who have had access to French instruction with accommodations. Those who have a modified program may be accessing French with some modifications with success, but it's always a conversation that we're having on a case-by-case basis with our students with regards to what that will look like for them in their programming. And we continue to get updates through, it's a real collaborative between curriculum, guidance, as well as special education and student mental health services, so that we can, we want to hopefully get some feedback once we have some information to share. So I'm just putting that on the radar because I know that there has been some communication out in the system about how we can support students in secondary school that may or may not be taking French. We call that a French substitution or a French, it's a French substitute, you're substituting French for another compulsory course. So we'll be getting some feedback from you. I just wanted to put that on your radar. RISE. So as you all were aware, last month we were in the boardroom and we were talking about some early challenges we were having with some of the migration to our new RISE system, which is the system that we use to communicate IEPs. It's ministry mandated, and it has been, we've had some successes and a lot of learning, but it has resulted in some other challenges. And we are aware that some families are able to access and have signed off on IEPs for the first term. And we also are aware of some families who are unable to or having difficulty accessing. So we're reviewing what is going well for some and what's not going so well for others to identify whether it's making sure that our frequently asked questions is clearer, that everyone has their OEN number and they know that the dashes are very important in when you're entering that information to obtain the IEP. So we are going through a little bit of growing pains, but I will say that there's been no more dedicated team than our school board in trying to uphold a high standard, but also to make sure that those documents and that programming is reflected in the documents. So a little bit more patience is required for some families, but we are really proud of the product, and we do think once it's up and running and all is well, that it'll be create ease of access and better ways of communicating student progress. But for the time being, we're kind of in, like I said, some growing pains. So if you could bear with us, and if there are questions, we are supporting all the CERTs department head sets with this process. So we'll advise families to continue to reach out to them so that we can notice what the trends are and maybe create some messaging that will help all schools. So there is no problem or no question that's too small, but we are again learning a lot about this process. For living our faith, this month we recognize the virtue of the month being faith in October, and next month will be all schools will recognize the virtues of justice and peace. If you were curious about what the faith theme is in your schools. And I'm going to turn over to the managers updates. So our EA managers, most recently our EA managers have supported our transition to RISE, specifically related to our SE 17, our indicator response plan, which is our IRP, and our SAFE plan documents. From our senior manager, speech language pathologist, DHH, BLB, behavior analysts, and updates from Denise Coley. She presented at the recent Canada FASD conference with Sue Brooks on the Halton FASD collaborative and using a community of practice support system change across agencies. I just want to shout her out for being the representative from Halton Catholic, and to continue to advocate for through the tool of learning and of engaging in courageous conversations across the province and beyond Canada, so that we can support students that have that reality and make sure that they're reaching their full potential. So thank you, Denise. Denise also participated, along with Oliver, Senior Manager of Psychology, and 2 SLPs in a Train the Trainer session on supporting disclosure of prenatal alcohol substance use when taking a developmental history to support clinical assessments. And they will then take this information and help train clinical staff at HCDSB over the next few months. And speech and language staff are working to adapt some of the early literacy screening materials so that they can be used with students who are non-speaking. From psychology, the wait list has been eliminated. We currently have only processing a small group of legacy referrals. Then we'll be moving toward a new on-demand assessment process based on new guidelines, and this will start in December. Psychology staff are also continuing to review external psychological assessments in order to assist school administrators and CERTs to determine appropriate identification and IEP strengths and needs. And if there are any educators on this call, the fact that we're in a position where we can say that our waitlist has been eliminated is no small feat. So I want to thank all the partners that were part of getting us to this point. And I think having an on-demand system is really going to allow us to respond to needs in a quicker fashion. The programming and those who are making the referrals will be active in the student's life currently, as opposed to when we have a referral and a year, 18 months later down the road, it might be a different teacher, might be different administrator. Like, there's so many factors that could change. So this is awesome. And in case you didn't know, I don't want to brag, but I'm really proud of the fact that we are one of a school board that can say that we have eliminated our wait list, which is awesome. Our CYC department updates, Jerry's Care. We're thrilled to share that Jay's Care Foundation has approved our request to implement a train the trainer model for the Jay's Care program. This removes the barrier identified at the September SEAC meeting for CYCs and staff who previously couldn't run the program due to evening training requirements. Paula, as the KPP, will be our trainer. Last year, our team also recommended offering an asynchronous refresher model for returning CYC staff instead of evening sessions, and Jay's Care has also implemented this change. All returning staff will complete the self-directed module starting this year, and we're excited about these updates, which reduces barriers for staff and enhances support for students. So far, we have 39 schools that will be participating in the Jay's Care program this year. And from our social work department, social workers will be joining other HCDSB staff in attending the Building Equity Literacy for Systemic Impact training offered by Human Rights and Equity. This includes a session called Centering Students with Disabilities. In addition, the mental health team and a team of educators will be adapting the School Mental Health Ontario Suicide Prevention Life Promotion training materials for use in an Halton Catholic District School Board context. These materials will be used to train staff to intervene when students are expressing thoughts of self-harm and suicide. And finally, from our special education coordinator and consultants, special education coordinator and consultants have been supporting the kindergarten open houses in Burlington, Oakville, Milton, and Georgetown. This provides an opportunity to share with prospective families about special education and student mental health services at HCDSB and information regarding the transition to kindergarten. We also already heard about our Special Olympics cross-country events and our growing number, record 133 students. And our secondary school education department head meeting took place on October 21st. The elementary CERT Family of Schools meeting was held on October 23rd, and topics at both meetings included Special Olympics Ontario, RISE updates, an outline of our new psychological referral process, literacy instruction resources, incident reporting, life skills co-op, best buddies, grade 4 gifted testing, and various information updates. So I'll stop there and see if there's anybody who has any questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Superintendent Jack Caldera. Does anyone have any updates for Superintendent Jack Caldera on the report? You shouldn't, because I was pretty much covered everything, like, as usual. It's awesome.
Brenda does. Brenda.
Oh, Brenda, go ahead. Sorry, I can't see the. Go ahead.
That's okay. I
Trustee
just
Agnew. Trustee Agnew, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had one really quick question. I'm wondering, Cassandra, how we're doing this year with EA fill rates. Like, how are we doing with any reported absences or, things like that? I had a parent reach out and I was just curious how we're doing as far as some of the potential vacancies we've had and keeping EAs in the classrooms.
We've had a pretty good fill rate. I know at one point we had a few days that were 100% fill rates, but I know that Andrea Jones is on the call, so I'm going to put her on the spot. If that's okay, Andrea. Sorry.
Sorry.
Absolutely. No problem at all. We have consistently, so I get time-stamped reports. So I don't want to suggest that I have like wholesome, complete information because that would come from our HR department, which we can gather to provide you more accurate feedback. So our timestamp report says managers are at, between 6 and 7 in the morning. And then again at 10 o'clock, there's another one in there too. But basically it gives us a snapshot to know where some challenges might be. And consistently, we have had very, very good fill rate, very regularly, 100% since the start of September. So I'm not sure exactly where the question is coming from related to our fill rate from a supply EA perspective around our absenteeism is one way that we manage. The other one would be related to temp jobs and filling consistent coverage. So both of those we've had very, very successful. We have the data to support very successful feedback. So we are continuing to do to get close to 100% feedback anecdotally, as well as a very quick response to temporary needs.
That's amazing, Andrea. Thank you so much. And I know that we're getting into, the winter season and things, happen with colds and flus, but that's great to know, because we have had challenges in the past. So that's really great that that's how the school year has started and hopefully it maintains that way. So thank you so much for that information.
No problem at all.
Thanks. That was all I had, Mr. Chair.
Great. Thank you, Trustee Agnew. Thank you, Andrea. Do we have any more questions for Superintendent Jack Caldera's report? No more questions. I see other hands. Okay. Thank you, Superintendent Jack Caldera. As always, really awesome stuff. Okay, so item 9.1, we'll go back to trustee report. I don't see Trustee Powell on our call, and I hate to put other trustees on the spot, but I know Trustee Saunders has been in all meeting, and Trustee Agnew just joined in recently. Is it
I'm sorry,
possible
I don't have I'm not prepared. Sorry, I didn't know I had to be ready.
I'm just no problem. I was just asking to see if anyone, if you could, either one of you could possibly provide an update. If not, we can always defer to ask Trustee Powell to forward that report after the meeting, or defer the report till the next meeting.
I can jump in super quick,
okay, yeah,
Mr. Chair.
Sure, Trustee Agnew, great, thank you.
Yeah, we had a really we had a pretty long meeting last week, but a lot of things were discussed. So there was, there's always reasons when our meetings tend to be a little bit more fulsome. So we did have a really great report from our director on the multi-year strategic plan, sort of 1 year in, taking a look at how things are going. He was able to share some metrics around the different components of the multi-year strategic plan and how they align with the different pillars, and grabbing feedback that we've been collecting from stakeholders and ratepayers and different groups. So he was able to share a lot of that information. So maybe what I'll do is and I know that he's followed up with an email to the system about that, but I'd be happy to share that information again with SEAC members in case you missed it. But some really great information, actually. I commented at the board meeting about just how resilient our staff can be, and it's sort of difficult sometimes to break molds and do things a little differently and venture down new paths to be reflective of the multi-year strategic plan. We're doing some great things, but sometimes things have to improve as well, and just to be able to staff has really come together to figure out what are those areas for improvement that have been identified, and then how to do that. So that was a really great discussion. We also had Superintendent Jack Caldera mentioned that we do have a new old trustee, Patrick Murphy, who was sworn in officially, just fit right like a glove, slid right into that chair. I think we still had his old nameplate. So he was officially sworn in at our board meeting. So that was great. Always, as we mentioned, sorry to see, Trustee Emma Murphy go, but happy that we no longer have a vacancy and we have a full complement of trustees around the table. So that was great. We also had a motion that passed at the table, which was wonderful, called Elect Respect. It's an initiative that came out of the Halton elected representatives. It's a group of female elected representatives from here in Halton Region who've gotten together a few times over the last number of years to talk about, what it looks like to be an elected official and some of the challenges that we face. And one thing that had been identified was just, sometimes the political arenas can be very toxic. And so how do we combat that? How do we protect people who feel like they're being, abused in their positions? So anyways, there was a pledge that was developed, and it was my privilege to bring that to the Board of Trustees for consideration. And that pledge did pass. We're in good company with our coterminous board and a number of other municipalities and city councils across Canada who have also taken the pledge. I'd be happy to share that information out as well with the group here. And I think that was really the brunt of it. We did not have a director's report because we had a lot of other things going on. But I think that's the nuts and bolts of the meeting. But I'd also be happy to follow up again with Trustee Powell to see if she had something that she wanted to report on that I might have been missing. So happy to fill in that gap, Mr. Chair.
That's great. Thank you, Trustee Agnew, for jumping in. And that's a pretty good review for a last minute jump in. Awesome. Thanks so much. And congratulations on the pledge being moved. That's great news too. Okay, so yeah, if you could forward that information to to Margaret, she can circulate it to the SEAC committee. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Trustee
Happy
Agnew.
to do that.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
I think Superintendent Jack Caldera had her hand up. Did you?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I'm just helping because it's hard to see everybody.
I see little tiny squares here on my screen. So.
It was up and then I took it down. I was just going to add that we did elect, well, the board elected a new vice chair. So now we have a new vice chair as part of the whole trustee rollout. So Janet O'Hearn Chanada is our new vice chair. Marvin Duarte remains as chair. So that shuffle took place. And I also wanted to shout out Trustee Agnew because she presented at the Council of Chairs meeting and talked about inclusion. I was able to be a little bit of her sidekick at that meeting, but it was well received and I got a lot of really positive feedback about ways that school councils can incorporate initiatives that are as inclusive as possible. And I will also say that there was a few parents who had reached out and said, is there anyone from your from SEAC that would feel comfortable to talk at a council meeting or at an initiative just for parent engagement? And so you may or may not have all been volunteered to support that as well. So I'll just throw that out there. I don't know if it'll come to fruition, but now it's on the internet, so it might happen, and wanted you to have fair warning.
Great, thank you. I'm sure we would have no problem finding people that could talk to local schools about SEAC's role. That'd be a great opportunity to market SEAC and promote SEAC's role to the local school community groups as well. Thank you so much, Superintendent Jack Caldera, for your report. And thank you, Trustee Agnew, for your trustee report. Does anyone have any more questions for Trustee Agnew's report? I don't see any hands. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Let's move on to item 10, SEAC discussion item or questions. Item 10.1, special education events to bring a buddy initiative. Amanda is going to speak to that. Is that right? Amanda,
that's right. Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Thanks. Okay. Over to you, Amanda. Thank you.
Thanks. I'll be super quick. Just an idea that I had come to mind, which I'm kind of calling a Bring a Buddy initiative. This idea would be, we have events that our students with disabilities attend, like the law enforcement torch run or the Special Olympics track and field. I know cross country, we have both, there's students from all areas of the school that attend the cross country. So, but there are certain events that are meant just for some of our special education students. And I think it would be something to think about, and hoping that I can get some feedback from you guys on, making a bit of a difference and supporting some more inclusion and friendship and helping some of these students feel more connected and supported, to be able to bring a buddy with them. And to kind of add like a bit of a context to what brought this to mind for me was that, my daughter was attending the torch run and it was a lovely day, but, she was really excited about it until she realized that none of her close friends or peers were going. And she, despite our efforts, she couldn't really understand why none of her neurotypical peers were joining her at the event. And, in speaking to other parents in the community, it's something that I think has come up for other students as well. And I just think it would be wonderful if we could somehow allow these students to bring a friend with them to, support them at these events, participate in the events with them, go on the torch run walk with them. We have some great programs out there like the Best Buddies Dance for High School. And I think something like this could be really great. And it would also, be impactful for our younger students in elementary as well. So I know there's probably potential barriers around this, like costs of bringing students, like additional students to events and things like that, but just something I just wanted to open up for discussion and see what everybody sort of thought of that.
That's great. Thanks, Amanda. Superintendent Jack Caldera has her hand up. Go ahead, Superintendent.
Yes, I just wanted to say that we do encourage, in the example that you provided with the torch run, that we do encourage schools to allow a buddy to come along. So I will take this back and make sure that we're doing maybe a better job of promoting that option, because certainly wouldn't want anyone to think that they're not allowed to bring a friend. That's how we build community, and that's part of the experience. So I'll take that one back to just make sure that all school teams, administrators are aware, and we certainly go, spare no expense to try and make sure that there's access to these initiatives. So if there's a school that is in that situation, we certainly want to work with them and just learn more about why they wouldn't be in a position to do that. But definitely, it's already on the agenda. So we're more than halfway there. It's just maybe making sure that we're doing a better job of promoting it. I don't know if that's the reason, but I'd be very curious to find out from schools if they were aware, and if they weren't aware, what we could do to make sure that that message is loud and clear.
Okay, so is that, I guess that's for any of the events, like not just the torch run?
Yeah.
Okay, that's so this initiative already exists.
Well, it sounds like we need some marketing, so we'll do a better job and maybe get some feedback on what we could do. Now we have our designated. Did anyone who's not following our Instagram account needs to do that ASAP? But maybe making sure that in addition to the school notice that we're doing more to ensure that all are aware that that's an option for sure. So we'll take that one back to push the idea forward even more.
Perfect.
Great, thank you. Brianna, you had your hand up, you took it down. Do you have a comment, or are you okay? Was it covered already by Superintendent Jack Caldera's response?
It was, because I was going to ask the same thing, because she mentioned track and field, and I was going to ask, did it cover all events? Because I have the same thing. I've not just my own lived experience, but watching some other students at the Best Buddies dance. They always don't have a best buddy to go. So it can be a pretty lonely event to attend, even though it's fun. But if you don't know anybody else and you don't have someone to go with, it's not always fun. And then I see those students, they tend to be hanging out with the staff because that's who they know and who they feel most comfortable with. And I just think sometimes it loses what we could be offering for these students. But if it's already out there, great. Like, I just think not every school's aware of it.
Through you, Chair. Yeah, I don't know if you've come in the last couple of years, but we definitely had a great turnout with Best Buddies in particular, and even with the Life Skills Prom, to the point where many of our students, they're too busy socializing or making new friends. They don't even want the staff to be around them. It's like embarrassing if you go over to them and say hi. And there was when I arrived at last year's Life Skills Prom, in the parking lot, there was a parent there, fussing over her daughter, and she was just like, no, enough. I just want to go in. And so, it doesn't matter there's something, so relatable to that interaction of a mother and a daughter who is just like, I just want to go in and party, like, leave me alone. And it didn't matter, what their abilities were in that moment. It didn't matter at all. It just was, a child going to enjoy her life skills prom and her prom. And that was the experience that I don't think we could, we're so fortunate to be able to offer these opportunities, but definitely we have peers, and that partnership is so important for establishing community.
Absolutely. Thank you, Superintendent Jack Caldera. Thank you, Amanda, for bringing this up, and again, thank you, Superintendent Jack Caldera, for I guess pushing forward with schools to acknowledge that they should promote and maybe market this, just so people are aware. I guess it's something, one of those things where not every school, I guess, is aware of it, but no, it's absolutely important for these kids to be able to enjoy themselves. And if they need their best buddy there with them, then absolutely they should have the option to bring them. So it's great that we can pursue this initiative and market it and promote it, and hopefully we can have all the kids be able to bring their buddies with them to all their events. Okay, thanks, Amanda. Okay, so sorry, Any more questions for Amanda, anybody, or comments? No? Okay, great. So let's move on to the next item. Item 11, meeting summary and next steps. So want to just thank again Fran and Dan for the Special Olympics cross country event presentation. We have the board policy I-33 and II-19. Anyone that wants to comment on those or add any edits or suggestions, please get those in as soon as possible using the form that was sent out a while ago by Margaret. That policy meeting is on November 11th, so the sooner the better if you want your comments included. Spirit of inclusion criteria form, if anyone has any suggestions or comments on that form, please send an email to Margaret, CC the chair and vice chair. That form is included in the agenda package that was sent out. SEAC subcommittees and board committees for review. Email Margaret to if you'd like to add your name to any more committees, or if you want to be a part of one of the subcommittees for SEAC, please email Margaret, CC the chair and the vice chair. And thank you, Brianna, for the Autism Ontario update presentation. And thank you, Amanda, for bringing up the Bring a Buddy initiative. Congratulations to Superintendent Jack Ladera and your team for getting the wait list eliminated. That's phenomenal news. I remember hearing it actually going from 12 to 13 to 14 months. That's typically where it's sat for a long time. So congratulations to you and to Oliver and his team for all your hard work getting that taken down. On-demand system sounds fabulous. Looking forward to hearing how that works out over the next few months and the next year or so. Now, next meeting, next agenda is November 24th, 2025. We're going to do resolution, item 13, resolution for absentees. Margaret, do we have a list of absentees?
No. So far, everybody's here, I believe.
Okay,
yeah.
So we don't need a motion then for that, I guess, right? So great.
No,
and,
because we had an alternate. We had the alternate for
Perfect,
Marianne. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so then we can move on to item 14, the adjournment and the closing prayer. Margaret, thank you for keeping me in my lane today for the meeting. So I appreciate all the help you've been sending along. Just wanted to say that before we move on to the next item. Item 14, the adjournment and closing prayer. Can I get a motion to move to adjourn the meeting? Looking for hands, or we have one. Abiola, number 1, is going to move it, and Trustee Saunders is going to second. Great, thank you. So Abiola moves it, Trustee Saunders seconds. So the meeting is adjourned, and now we're going to move to our closing prayer. Join me in the sign of our faith. Holy Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Blessed are you, O God of all creation. Each day you spread before us the rich and wonderful diversity of the human family created in divine splendor of your love. Fashioned in your image, you call us to love one another with the same tender care with which you brought us to creation. Each one of us is but one small part of the glory that is you. As we serve the students and families of the Halton Catholic District School Board on the Special Education Advisory Committee, fill us with your grace, guide us with your wisdom, and give us the strength and courage to do your work, so that it may always be said of our every act, God saw that it was good. Amen. In the Father, and Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Thank you for joining us tonight, everyone. Go Jays, go! And we'll see you next time. Enjoy your evening. Take care.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks. Good night,
Good
everyone.
night. Thank you.
Good night.